Hey, what the fuck is up, everybody? I'm here today. This is Will and Willpower's Astrology. Willpower's Astrology, but whatever. I'm talking today about the North Node in Gemini. This is something that we have been experiencing for a little over a year, and it will continue until next January. So I just want to jump in and talk about it. It might be a little late, but whatever. I don't give a shit. So, the North Node in Gemini. So the North and South Node are basically theoretical positions in space. The nodes are where the Moon's orbit crosses the Earth's orbit. The North Node is where it crosses in front, and the South Node is where it crosses in back. They're in the chart. They're always going to be directly opposite of each other. A lot of times when you see it, it'll just show the North Node, but the South Node is always exactly at the other opposite sign at the same degree. So, what does this mean? The North Node. Oh, hi. Oh, it's my cat. I have an assistant. The North Node in the chart represents what we do not know. It's what we're here to learn. So if you have the North Node in Gemini in your chart, you're here to learn how to do Gemini shit. Okay, you're learn how to express yourself. You're here to learn how to talk. You're here to learn how to say, this is me, that's not me. And all that kind of thing. So if you have this, and so the South Node, would be our kind of our comfort zone. It's what we already know. It's what we already feel like we have a grasp on. And then we kind of already inherently have these traits. So if you have the North Node in Gemini, you're gonna have the South Node in Sagittarius, which means higher learning, higher thinking, philosophy. You probably are somebody that's in your head a lot. And you probably need to get out of your head and a little more like get your mouth talking to everybody else around you. You know what I mean? People with Sagittarius energy are gonna cut and run. They're gonna go follow their own path. They're not gonna sit here and argue it out with you. So just blah, blah, blah. So I'm looking at the when I did my North Node in Cancer video, I actually predicted COVID. So psychic. Go back and look at both of my videos talking about North Node in Cancer. The first one, and then the second one where I'm talking about the eclipse in the summer of 19. Basically, that one freaked me out because I was like, it's going to be a year-long influence that carries the North Node in Cancer energy. And then like a year to the day later is when that Portland moms protest shutdown thing happened. And I was like, ooh, that's spooky. Spooky, ooky, ooky. So anyways, I was kind of scared going into election season and just kind of watching how everything went down. I didn't want to post about the North Node in Gemini. It made me a little anxious. But looking at it now, I'm like, oh, okay, let's go back and track these dates. So the North Node in Gemini, we're in it now. It started May 4th of 2020. So the COVID shutdown had already happened, and then we're going from that point until January 18th of 22. So we're in it right now, okay? Yeah, I know, kitty. So then the time before that was October 12th of 01 to April 13th of 03, okay? So to me, that's looking like 9/11 just happened, and the U.S. is now leading the war on terror. We're starting like military strikes and invading places that had nothing to do with it, all that kind of thing. Then I'm looking at last time before that, March 15th of 83 to September 11th of 84. So I'm looking at we got Reaganomics going on in full force. You know what I mean? If we deregulate blah blah blah, we're gonna blah blah blah. And then we've also got the AIDS epidemic. Before like 84, the only people that really knew about the AIDS epidemic were gay people. But then once it started coming out that that it could affect everybody, then it became more of a mainstream thing. And then we get Pluto moving into Scorpio and that kind of stuff becoming more public and more dealt with because it wasn't just this gay disease, right? So the time before that, we have August 25th of 64 to February 19th of 66. So we're dealing with post-JFK assassination. We're dealing with lots of other environmental deregulation at this time that led to actually Nixon starting the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, because the Ohio River caught on fire, I think in like 66 or 67. So again, intense, we don't know what's going on, intense public discourse and public talking. To this day, we still don't really know who killed JFK and how that all went down. So when these records come out in the next couple years, mama, okay? am I talking about? December 2nd of 1945 to August 2nd of 1947. We're dealing with post-World War II. We just dropped the atom bomb. We've got all this stuff happening. I'm thinking about coming back from World War II. All of a sudden, the women who were in the factories are now kind of kicked back into the home. We're going to jump into the McCarthyism era. We're going to jump into the, the 50s of all this different kind of information happening. Okay. Then April 16th of 1927 to December 28th of 1928. So this is directly, like I talked about before, the deregulation with the housing or whatever, the deregulation of blah, blah, blah. This is directly the time that led to the Great Depression and the stock market crash. So there's speculation, there's over speculation in the markets. There's this, there's that, there's, is it lies? Is it misinformation? We don't know. And then also, this one I actually found really fascinating. September 26th of 1908 to March 23rd of 1910. So that was in the 20th century, at the beginning of the 20th century, we had the North Node in Gemini as well. And I actually found, when I was looking at my little research for this, polio was isolated in 1909. So I think that like literally that talk of polio, we've got now COVID and Delta variant and all this stuff happening in our current incarnation of the North Node in Gemini. So, basically my assertion here is that when the North Node in Gemini, we're dealing with periods of misinformation or lies, straight up lies. But I was talking to my father, who is a history teacher, about this, and it's kind of this, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Did the misinformation cause the problems? Or did we lie about the misinformation to cover up our culpability, right? So, I don't know. It's kind of intense. Basically, we've got this period now where we've got this intense public discourse, and Gemini stuff, everybody thinks that their opinion, that the stuff that I'm expressing out of my mouth is the same as having actual information, all right? So, it's not. And everybody's got an opinion, but does everybody have information? No, they don't. And do the misinformed know that they're misinformed? No, they're the loudest. Like, what's that quote about? Basically, smart people are kind of full of self-doubt, and dumb people are just kind of like loud and out there. That's the characterization for me of North Node in Gemini. It's what we're dealing with right now. So basically, if the North Node in Gemini was a drag queen, her name would be Misinformation. And that's kind of my assertion, and I'm sticking to it. And brah!